Although awareness is growing, there is not a general strong sense in the public of the threats of invasive species. And I feel like if everyone in our region knew that the International Union for the Conservation of Nature rates invasive species as the second highest global threat to biodiversity, I think that there would be a lot more motivation among residents to take action right now to prevent those impacts. Hi, my name is Erin Bates. I'm the Executive Director here at CKISS. CKISS stands for the Central Kootenay Invasive Species Society, and so we are a regional nonprofit that operates throughout the regional district of Central Kootenay as well as areas A and B of the regional district of Kootenay boundary. We're here because we care about this cause and we feel like we can make a difference.
My name is Tom Bradley. I've been a member of CKISS since pretty close to the organization was founded. I've been on the board since about 2010, and I've been the president for a substantial number of the last years. Our objective is to reduce the introduction and spread of invasive species in the Central Kootenay area. We believe that's a vitally important job, and frankly, one that could use more attention from all of society in general. Invasive species take over habitats and they have no natural controls that limits their growth and establishment.
My name's Juliette Craig, and I was the original coordinator of what was then the Central Kootenay Invasive Plant Committee that evolved into CKISS. Biodiversity is the variety of life, all living things, and that can be within an ecosystem, within a region, or on our planet. And it's not just a list of the species themselves and counting the numbers of them, it's also ensuring that they're within healthy, functioning ecosystems so that there's the ecosystem processes that allow these species to continue to thrive and be abundant, the native species that should be here.
Invasive species are harmful to biodiversity and generally not a good thing to have. We are working directly to try to prevent them from getting a foothold and to remove them from ecosystems where they have established a foothold.
CKISS is extremely important. It's a very high-profile nonprofit organization that has raised the awareness of invasive species and their impacts in our region. It serves as a local resource to people so they can find localized information and current information to address invasive species. CKISS has a big focus on prevention, which is the key element of invasive species management, and a lot of campaigns and outreach and education around prevention.
Climate change definitely affects the introduction and spread of invasive species. As the climate changes, the ecology changes. And as the ecology changes, niches open up for species to take advantage of.
I think in the next 15 years, CKISS is going to continue to be agile and innovative and really work hard to identify new threats that could potentially impact our region. I think this is particularly important in the face of climate change, where we're really looking at new threats that could be coming in that would not have been a threat to our region in the past.
CKISS is now 15 years old. And what have we accomplished in that 15 years? Well, we've grown from a very small organization without much resources or budget to a significant player with a significant amount of funding annually to support our dedicated staff and to support the work to control invasive species.
I do feel like our overall greatest accomplishment has just been the growth generally of awareness around invasive species in our region and the building of our extremely large network of partners and friends and stakeholders, including our incredible board and all of our members and our really strong staff team. I feel like the past 15 years have put CKISS in a really great position to reach many, many people in the CKISS region.
There have been so many great accomplishments of CKISS over the last 15 years. Expanding the focus from plants to species and addressing aquatic species, which are a major threat to our lakes and waterways with invasive mussels and other aquatic invasive species. I think that the thinking around invasive species is becoming more holistic, and CKISS is responding to that. I've seen the development of outreach between CKISS and the Kootenay Native Plant Society, for example. So not just addressing the invasive species, but addressing the ecosystem as a whole, more holistic look at conservation of our ecosystems, fish, wildlife, and their habitats.
Overall, the management and prevention of invasive species is a more collaborative and coordinated effort in our region because CKISS exists. Our role is bringing together those people and helping that collaboration to happen.
If there was no CKISS, we don't see anyone else taking on this role at this time. Remember, the Kootenays are linked to the rest of the world. River systems flow out of Canada and back into Canada, into the Kootenays. We are part of a North American ecosystem, and both sides of the border and adjoining Canadian provinces can be homes to species that are invasive that we don't want in British Columbia.
There's so many great reasons to work for CKISS. I love the blend between higher level strategic planning and thinking and the on the ground pulling the invasive plants out of the ground, the field work and seeing the amazing natural area that we live in and getting to explore a lot of the corners of it. It's always had an incredible board and staff, so being able to work with all these great people and feeling like you're doing something to make a difference. And my heart's always been in conservation, so I just feel like this is such an important conservation issue, and to be able to work on it and make a difference is really valuable. CKISS has great advice for how to prevent invasive species. There's been a lot of excellent campaigns that CKISS has focused on, which really hit the main issues. So things like clean, drain, dry your boat to prevent the movement of aquatic invasive species, know what you grow to prevent planting invasive species or sharing them with your neighbors, don't let it loose so we don't release our pets into natural habitats, and play, clean, go, which is for recreationalists to prevent spreading invasive species between where they play.
If people want to prevent invasive species, I would say give us a call. We want to talk to you. We want to connect with people who are interested in helping with this work, and we have a ton of really great resources that will help you learn how you can help.
So as part of the 15th anniversary celebrations, they asked us, what's your favorite native plant? So I chose Mahonia. This beautiful shrub beside me is a native plant. It grows in our garden, and currently it's at its worst. It is a bit peaked, it's coming back to life now, but soon it's going to be covered in huge sprays of breathtakingly beautiful yellow flowers. It grows stunning purple grape-like berries, small, and the leaves each year regrow in a beautiful leathery green. It's a stunning plant, it's a native, it's a wonderful thing to have in your garden.
My favorite native species, I think, is the glacier lily. It's just such a small and fleeting sign of spring, and I feel like it's part of an ecosystem that's certainly going to be under more of a threat as global warming continues.
I have a lot of favorite native plants, but I think one of my favorite native plants is Western Red Cedar. It's the habitat I grew up in, and it's the habitat I continue to live in. And First Nations people I've spoken with have described it as the tree of life. And I love being in cedar forests and how they smell and how they feel.